Welcome back. Let me start with a message that I received recently about imagination. The messenger said, imagination is the bridge between worlds. When you dare to step upon it, you move beyond the boundaries of the physical and you touch the whispers of spirit, bringing the unseen into form. My name is Candace Sanderson. And when I first started channeling messages, I did not sit down and say, okay, spirit guide, speak to me now. It happened very naturally when I was open. I didn't expect it, but I was certainly in the present moment. But I realize now I can do precisely that. I can invite my guides to connect and let them know that I'm willing to listen. This is part of the process that I want to share with you today. In our last episode, I talked about two prerequisites for unleashing our messengers within: curiosity and courage. I suggested that you develop tools like I did to embody these important reminders that pave the way for a successful journey beyond the physical. When we approach the unknown with a sense of curiosity, we no longer fear what might be behind the door. Instead, there is a sense of wonder and awe and mystery. It's like opening birthday presents. You can hardly wait to see what the next gift might offer as you march forward with determination and courage and curiosity. Now that we have embraced curiosity and we've used a bit of courage as we prepare to explore these extraordinary states like out of body experiences, what's next? What's the next step? How do we find that bridge into the other dimensions? By preparing the 3D physical world before making those deeper spiritual connections. That's how. We need to get our ducks in a row to be organized so that we are ready to listen and record our inner voices, those creative sparks and intuitive whispers that guide us toward that bridge beyond the 3D. Our physical bodies are just our avatars. It is our spirit that shows us who we are, if and when we are ready to listen and then cross that bridge. Let me go over the basics for those who are new to meditating. When it's time to settle in a chair or wherever you're going to meditate, the first step I take is to surround this space with protection. That could be anything from saying a prayer or verbalizing a wish for protection. It could mean repeating a favorite affirmation. I could install what Bob Monroe with Monroe Institute calls a reball, a resonant energy balloon, which is a bubble. It's actually a torus, a protective light that surrounds me and this space. Some people prefer a more elaborate ceremony by burning sage or maybe having an array of crystals or candles or even flowers in an altar at the center of your place, wherever it will be. My space often changes. I'll be in the same area, but the things I have within that area change depending on the nudges I receive from my messengers. If you are new to meditation, pick an area that just feels comfortable to you. And this is important. Did you know that if you meditate in the same place, energy builds? In essence, this area becomes a power place where protections become automatic. They are ready to come online with a breath or thought or the lighting of a candle or incense. And using the same place along with the same time also makes those connections to your guides and angels a little bit easier. In essence, it helps them locate you. Let's look at this from the T perspective, TEA, thoughts, energy, action formula that the messengers tell me about. The action of setting up a regular place and time to meditate, those become tools that assist us in the 5D. Our intentions, which are the thoughts in the TEA, to arrange that place to meditate. Those thoughts begin to seep into those non-physical areas that surround us. Therefore, those intentions behind the actions begin to transform our 3D meditation place into a sacred space. We literally manifest outcomes, the ATEA, with our thoughts. The TEA formula connects those dots between the T and the A as our meditation area attracts the divine and the sacred, making this a power source for us. And what a huge benefit when your body automatically begins that meditative experience when you enter this space. I'm sure you've been to places where you feel that when you enter, you know it's sacred. It might be a church, a temple, a forest, a mountainside. Well, now you know why and how that occurs, but more importantly, you can establish your own sacred place, and that is empowerment. Once you identify where you will meditate, go through the basic checklist from previous episodes. Putting your phone on Do Not Disturb, lighting candles or incense, close the door, and then your physical body, they've already done the work for you by gathering a notebook and a pen, or if you're alone, you've opened up your voice recorder on your phone, it's queued up and you're ready to hit record. There are aspects of you that will assist your journey, your observer, your scribe, your 3D body, and your experiencer. Now, if I've just lost you at this point, return to previous episodes, including the one called Beyond the Prism Gate, to understand these concepts. But it doesn't really matter whether you're going to listen to a guided meditation or just sit in silence. Do whatever works for you and change it if you feel guided to do so. I guess what I'm saying is really follow your heart and engage in whatever your routine is, and soon you'll be ready to open for messages. Find a comfortable spot where you will pretty soon close your eyes and take a deep breath and just listen. Whether you have just begun to sense that there's something more to life, or if you've been exploring spirituality for years, know that this conversation you are about to have is for you alone, for you specifically. So pause, take a few deep breaths, and prepare to ask a question. By asking questions, you create this invitation for connection. You begin building that bridge through imagination. The question is the T, the thought in the T formula. And by asking it and then opening for a response, this intention becomes an organizing principle. The universe, our guides, come closer to connect with us. Questions keep us focused, and they signal our guides that we are open and ready to receive. You see, guidance is not always mystical or even complicated. It often comes in simple, everyday ways, through synchronicities, through meaningful coincidences, or sudden clarity. Let me share an exercise to prime the pump for connection. This one, we are going to use your imagination to drink a make-believe cup of hot tea. Now, I'm more of a coffee drinker, but this hot tea drinking exercise works for me every time. First, I close my eyes and I take a deep breath in and out. I might do this 2 or 3 times until I feel so much more relaxed. And then I imagine a cup of tea. So try this yourself. Imagine this cup of tea, and as you lift it, feel the weight of the cup in your hands. Feel the warmth as that tea through the cup spreads across the palms of your hands. Slowly bring that cup to your face. As you do so, see and feel the steam from the surface of the tea. You smell the herbal mixture. Maybe it's peppermint or citrus or cinnamon. Maybe it's pumpkin spice. You take a slow sip, and as you do, feel the tea move across your teeth, across your tongue, as it travels to the back of your throat. You feel its warmth as you swallow this delicious elixir. With each small sip, your mind calms, your body relaxes, and your heart opens. Through imagination, this exercise bridges the 3D to the 5D. When I do this, I sense the warmth, I smell the aroma, I taste the flavor of the tea, and my body naturally responds by swallowing. And did you know swallowing is an automatic reaction to being relaxed? Now, you've probably figured out why I like the cup of tea exercise, especially for a coffee drinker. Sipping imaginary tea prepares us for meditative experiences through that great reminder of the messenger's tea formula. And by using the thoughts, energy, action formula, we gain insight and we see how our imagination, how our thoughts, our intentions create that bridge from the physical and into the surrounding non-physical field of energy. When we use our imagination, as we do in this exercise, our energy, TEA, automatically flows into action, and it grounds us in the present moment. Non-physical senses become activated, and that in turn trigger physical responses. It's just like salivating at the thought of biting into a lemon. Our imagination creates experiences as vivid, if not more so, than reality. And within these moments, our inner world, the world of our imagination, becomes more active than the 3D outer world. We've just programmed a tool for crossing that threshold into the 5D. From a neurological perspective, when our inner world becomes more active than the outer world, we've just shifted away from that awake and alert beta brainwave state of the analytical mind to the slower, more relaxed alpha brainwave state where we are calm yet aware and relaxed. We are entering that flow state. Check out the previous episodes where I discussed our observer and how they cap off the energy from one aspect of us to open the doors for these meditative experiences. This is how all this works. Pause, relax, enjoy. Don't judge. So, in other words, release your beta state that begs you to analyze and go with the alpha flow. Ride the waves of your imagination, your alpha state, and allow this to lead you into even deeper brainwave states like theta. When you are relaxed, whether you have used any tool to prime the pump, with your eyes closed, take a few more deep breaths to ground you, to relax you deeper, and to prepare you for what's to come. So you can see that these deep breaths are also tools that inform your physical body, that you're preparing to connect. So let these breaths connect with your guides and inform them that you are ready to listen. So within moments of this T exercise, I am ready to ask a question. I simply ask, what message do I need to hear right now? Ask what calls you. What wisdom longs to speak with you? By asking this question or any question, you are creating that invitation for connection. But like an Evite, you don't let it hang in your outbox. You have to send it. You have to release it. So use your imagination and watch it disappear into the ethers. Send it into the universe. Let go. Allow. And notice. Just notice. What thoughts surface? What emotions are there to these thoughts? Allow yourself to really feel those emotions, really feel them. That's part of the E, the energy in the TEA formula. And finally, let's see what action comes to mind. It might be subtle, gentle, small. But what can you do today to honor this guidance? This is how it begins, with a question, with an invitation. You know, when we think about spiritual awakening, many people imagine a lightning bolt of insight or a dramatic moment that changes everything. But for most of us, awakening is quieter. It's a whisper from within. It might start as a subtle nudge, a feeling, or some unexplainable knowing that there's more to life than what we see with our eyes. But it is through these whispers where we receive guidance. We may not be ready to sit down and dictate pages of conversations, But by starting small and quiet, we make those initial connections. Trust that you have connected. When we invite guidance, then the next step is important. We pay attention to what we receive. We open for an answer, then trust that answer. We learn to trust our hearts, our internal compass, as it connects to the 5D realms where the angels and guides reside. Answers may arrive immediately. Sometimes they arrive before you finish asking your question. They might arrive later in the day when you have a significant conversation or maybe a surprise phone call. That night, answers might arrive through a meaningful dream. So be open, be aware, just notice. I have never been one for delay of gratification. I want answers right now, right away. So let me share what I do, what my process is. I ask a question and then immediately I start documenting any images or words or feelings. That's the emotional feeling as well as the physical feelings like tingles or pressures or feeling hot or cold. Be open for any subtle changes, any errant thoughts, or flashes of images. I find that if I breathe deeply and smile to show appreciation, my experience improves. That's the TEA formula in action. Boosting the energy, to something positive, helps keep that initial thought or intention aligned with the outcome, the action. As anything occurs, I document it. I don't wait for profound messages. I start by scribbling on my journal page and see if it leads to something else. Those errant lines might become a tree or a place that I recognize later. I often start by describing my physical body. If nothing arrives, I just say I'm sitting in my chair, my right shoulder feels tight, my eyes are watering, my breath is deep, my head tingles, I feel hot. But something is happening within your body, even if it's just stillness. Tune in, pay attention, engage your observer, and have your scribe describe it. Your scribe is a tool, and this is when I give her permission to operate. I unleash her and let her do her thing. My scribe begins to record in real time, keeping me in the present moment. I do not judge or analyze. That's the beta brainwave state. I let that rest. But unleashing my scribe keeps that beta analytical mind from judging, and I flow into the alpha state. So with judgment at bay, I begin to notice abstract energy floating in, or perhaps the presence of a non-physical entity. There's a noticing, not necessarily seeing with my physical eyes or hearing with my ears, but using all of my senses to notice. I am crossing this alpha bridge. I am relaxed yet alert, and I am headed to deeper brainwave states by staying in the present moment and documenting in real time what happens. With time and experience, this becomes easier. You'll become more familiar with your own energy field. So when something else enters it, even if it's on the edge, you will recognize it easier. This is your spidey senses coming online. Your radar becomes attuned to everything that enters your awareness. Don't be afraid to use your imagination. Imagination is a fabulous tool that invites more information to flow into these alpha states. Don't judge what you imagine by saying you're making this up. Put that beta brainwave aside and change your perspective. Just notice whatever comes to mind. No judgment, just awareness. Welcome this valuable tool of imagination because it is the foundation for things to come. Let me return to that opening quote from the messengers about imagination. Imagination is that bridge between worlds. When you dare step upon it, you move beyond the boundaries of the physical and you touch the whispers of spirit, bringing the unseen into form. Speaking with spirit is a calling to notice, to sense, and to trust your own unfoldment. Use your imagination and cross that alpha bridge and enter a brave new world filled with wonder of things to come. We have reached a good stopping point. So as we close, I think of my new mantra from the messengers. It's not what you know, it's what you show. It's not the knowing from analysis from our beta brain that dissects life second by second, but it's the flow that we show. It's our imagination that creates that alpha bridge to those whispers of spirit that bring the unseen into form. Live your life with kindness. Appreciate the small things in life. Focus on what's right with the world. I am so appreciative of you and thank you for subscribing and liking and sharing. Until next time, goodbye.